Hey guys, what's up? It's John Muscarella from Side Hustle Experiment, and today I'm answering someone's Instagram question. And the question is, how do I find time to source? This probably going to be an unpopular answer, but this is really the only answer. You don't find time, you have to make time to source. There's no other way around it. You're not just going to find time. Everyone has 24 hours a day. You're not finding any more. There's no 25th, 26th hour. You just have to make time. So, for example, when I had a full-time job, a 9 to 5, where did I get time to source? Well, at lunchtime, there's a Goodwill right by my office where I used to work. It was literally maybe 10 minutes away. So I go there during lunch. I had, I don't know, maybe a half hour to look around, scan whatever I could. It actually was very easy because I went there every day, so I knew exactly what was new and what wasn't new. So it was super quick and super easy. I'd go in there. Sometimes I would get no books. Sometimes I would get 20 or 30. Sometimes I get lucky and find a bunch of textbooks, and then, yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, you could do it on your lunch hour. Then every night after work, there was 3 thrift stores by my house. I go to each one of those thrift stores and look. I mean, I knew that people who are doing it full time are probably already there, but I went anyway. And you know what? I've pretty much always found books. I mean, some sources are obviously better than others, and you don't know. I mean, maybe the person who's full-time decided to skip that day and there's a ton of great inventory there, and sometimes there's not. I mean, that's just how it goes. So it was lunch, after work, and then the weekend. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. The weekend when I first started, I just go to local thrift stores, but I quickly find out that, like, if you're going to them during the week, like, they just don't magically get a ton of more inventory on Saturday, especially if you're there on Friday. So I would plan trips. So basically, there were probably 5 or 6 areas I would hit that were anywhere from like 1 to 2.5 hours away from me. So yeah, I would make it a thing. So I'd start early. My girlfriend would sometimes come and help me if we were going if I was gonna go more than 2 hours. For example, one weekend we went to Washington, D.C. So we made a weekend out of it. I took off on work on Friday. She took off. We thrifted most of Friday. I just made a list of stores using Google Maps. Found all the stores in the areas we were going to be at. I remember that was like a really great trip. There was a lot of great books there. So if you're in Washington, maybe plan a trip there. And yeah, so we made a weekend out of it. We basically worked Friday. I did a little bit Saturday morning. We, had a good dinner on Friday, and then kind of hung out the rest of the day on Saturday. We might have even took off on Monday and stayed Sunday. I don't know, but yeah, you have to make it work. So on that trip too, I'm pretty sure when we came back Monday, we hit some stores on the way home. So when I made lists of places to source, I always would have a list like going there. So are there any thrift stores on the way to the destination I'm going? And are there any on the way home? Because if you went to if you were planning to go to, let's say you were going to, let's say DC, and all the stores in DC were terrible, maybe you spent 2 hours and you're like, screw it, like, let's just go home. You could hit all the stores on the way home that you picked. I mean, half the time I wasn't even able to cover all the stores just because, it takes time to scan books, and you can find a really good store. You just stay there for the whole time. You just never know. But the bottom line is, you have to make time. You're not going to find time. Another great example is this YouTube channel. I've wanted to make a YouTube channel. I kind of have a blog. I started that, and I really wanted to share what I'm doing, my experiences, help other sellers, because a lot of people help me. And I never have time to write. I am a very good writer, but I am a slow writer. It takes me a bunch of time to probably put this in a blog post and be happy with it and, you know, make it nice to where I would want it. Probably take me an hour, but doing this video is going to take me, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes. And then by the time I create an image for it, maybe another 5 minutes. So maybe all in 30 minutes or whatever. So it takes me about half the time. It is raw. I don't edit it for that reason. But yeah, if you really want it, you got to make the time. You're not going to find it. You have to make it. Oh, so sorry, back to my YouTube point. So basically I was like, oh man, like I work a lot already. How am I going to find time to make YouTube videos? So what I decided is I have a 20-minute commute to the warehouse, so I could either do it in the morning or on the way home. I started doing it, I can't even remember what the first video was. I'm pretty sure actually they were all on the way home. But basically it just started recapping the day, what happened, kind of like a highlight or a lesson that I could share that would help people. And I was like, I'll just do it in my car. It's gonna look kind of weird because I'm driving and yeah, it's not an edited situation or whatever, but I think hopefully that people find value in the content. So basically I was like, I found, you know, a 20-minute pocket. I found a way. I just bought this, I think $10 like camera clip-on that hooks to the dashboard, and I put my phone in there, hit record, and just start talking. So yeah, you got to find creative ways to make it work. If you want to do books, I mean, there is a lot of logistics. Like you got to go to thrift stores, you can build partnerships with libraries. There's all sorts of stuff you could do. Or maybe you're in an area where there aren't a lot of thrift stores and books probably aren't a good fit for you. You should probably do online arbitrage to start and then probably work your way into wholesale. There's so many different ways you could do it, but you're not going to find the time. You have to make it. That is the answer to your question. And I would say pick a time. Like give yourself, say, hey, if you could only do an hour, that's what you got. You got to work with it. A lot of people, oh, how much money do I need to get started with this business? My answer always is, how much do you have? Like, what is the difference? If I tell you it's going to cost 20 grand and you don't have 20 grand, like you'll never start it. So like, just start with what you have. If you only have a half hour, figure out how you can get the best or the most out of that half hour. And then if you're like, I can't find that many books in a half hour and that's all the time I have, then maybe you have to explore other like side hustle opportunities. There's so many things you could do. So yeah, bottom line, you got to make the time. You're not going to find the time. So stick in there. Guys, if you like this video, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. It means the world to me. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about making the time and maybe some creative ways you've used to make time. Talk to you soon, guys.